Hey there, chronology junkies. I'm Dave.
And in chronological order, I'm Lane, and you're listening to Touring History X, Y, and Z, where we prove that history hits different. It does depend on whether you learned about the Cold War from your parents, CNN, or a Wikipedia rabbit hole at 2 a.m.
Oh, those rabbit holes at 2
We're
a.m.
just saying different historical events hit people differently depending on when they grew up.
That's right. And today we're diving into July 9th. But first, our friends at Hi-Ho Cheeseburgers want you to know something. While most burger joints are out there serving whatever mystery meat they can source cheapest, yeah, I'll take that. How much is it? Sure. Hi-Ho is bringing you 100% grass-fed Wagyu beef from First Light Farms in New Zealand.
Yeah, and can we talk about how wild it is that we live in a time where you can get sustainably raised, certified humane beef that's antibiotic and GMO free? Plus, it's actually better for you. Lower saturated fat, higher omega 3s, vitamins, antioxidants. It's like they figured out how to make guilt free indulgence.
Wow. Check them out at hiho.la, hiho.la, because life's too short for mediocre burgers, my friends.
All right, July 9th. Dave, I've been looking at this date and it's like a masterclass in different generations and how they process American power, media, and independence.
But before we get there, though, let's see who we're birthday buddies with today.
Oh, yay! Well,
Send it
we've
off,
got
Lane.
we've got America's dad, Tom Hanks, turning 69.
Oh, wow. And artist David Hockney, another LA resident at 88, who basically invented the aesthetic of California pools and gay liberation.
Courtney Love at 61, who survived the 90s, and Kurt Cobain and somehow became a Twitter icon.
And Jack White, turning 50, proving that analog purism can sell in a digital world.
Absolutely. Fred Savage, 49, who basically taught Gen X how to narrate their own childhood trauma through Wonder Years.
Boy, do I feel old. And Rebecca Sugar at 38, creator of Steven Universe, who revolutionized kids' TV by actually dealing with real emotions and identity.
Uh, Moving on to our historical events of the day. Our first story takes us back to July 9th, 1868, when the United States ratified the 14th Amendment, guaranteeing citizenship and equal protection under the law to all people born in the United States.
Although that's under question
It,
recently.
it seems to be. It does seem to be.
Yeah, now it's up to the states to decide who's a person of naturalization. But now,
Hmm.
here's why this resonates so deeply with Gen X specifically. You're the generation that grew up watching the 14th Amendment get stress test in real time.
Right. We're talking about the kids who saw Rodney King, watched the LA riots, lived through the OJ trial, and basically had a front row seat to America wrestling with whether equal protection actually meant equal protection.
And what really strikes me about Gen X's relationship to constitutional rights is this healthy skepticism. Is this healthy
Skepticism. Yeah, that's how I say it too.
catechism about whether the paper matches the practice? You didn't just learn about civil rights in history class, you watched them get litigated on live T with Judge Judy.
Exactly. We're the generation that understood from a young age that having something written down doesn't automatically make it real. The
Mm.
14th Amendment wasn't ancient history for us, it was this living document that clearly wasn't working the way it was supposed to.
And here's the thing that blows my mind, Lane. Gen X developed this very practical approach to constitutional rights. Not cynical, not naive, just like, okay, this is what it says on paper. Now let's see what actually happens, huh?
Yeah, we learned to read between the lines early. When adults told us everyone is equal under the law, we were watching the news thinking, well, that's obviously not true. So what's really going on here?
Right. So we jump forward to July 9th, 1922, when WEAF in New York, WEAF, aired the first radio commercial, a 10-minute spot for Queensboro Corporation selling apartments. We've got the best apartments. We got bathrooms. You don't need to go on an outhouse anymore. We're Queensboro.
A 10-minute spot. Oh my goodness.
It went
That's
on
a
forever.
long ad.
Yeah.
So, I can tell you're building to something though, Dave. This is about millennials and advertising, I
Oh,
think.
absolutely, Lane. Millennials are the first generation to grow up completely immersed in advertising from birth, but also the first to develop sophisticated defenses against it.
Yeah, that's fascinating because that first radio ad was basically, hey, we're going to interrupt your entertainment to sell you something. And by the time millennials came around, that interruption model was everywhere.
And by the time millennials came around after that 10-minute commercial,
Yeah. A
they
lot
were
of them were
ready to,
conceived. A
yeah.
lot of them were conceived during that 10-minute commercial.
Oh my God. I think oh, all right. It's still going on. Right. But here's what's brilliant about the millennial response. Instead of just accepting advertising as background noise like previous generations who just got up to go to the bathroom, they turned it into content. They made advertising transparent, shareable, memeable.
Yeah, the part that absolutely floors me is how millennials weaponized their advertising literacy. They grew up with more commercial messaging than any generation in history, so they became experts at detecting and deconstructing it.
Exactly. Gen X learned to tune out ads, but millennials learned to engage with them critically. They're the generation that made Super Bowl commercials into cultural events and turned brand Twitter accounts into comedy shows.
And now they're creating their own advertising through influencer culture, but with this built in authenticity requirement that traditional advertising never had. Like, I'll promote your product, but only if I actually use it and can tell my followers exactly why.
Yeah, well, it's weird evolution from that first radio commercial. Simple interruption. Well, it wasn't really simple. 10 minutes? Come on. To this complex ecosystem where advertising has to earn its place in your feed by being genuinely entertaining or useful, like Hi-Ho Burgers.
Yeah, speaking of advertising evolution, Hi-Ho Cheeseburgers isn't trying to trick you with fancy marketing speak.
Oh,
They're
no.
just straight up telling you this is Wagyu beef from New Zealand. It's grass-fed and humane, and it tastes incredible.
That's right. No hidden ingredients, no asterisks, no natural flavouring nonsense. Just First Light Farms sustainable raised beef that happens to be antibiotic and GMO free from down under with better nutrition than regular beef.
Yeah,
Kangaroos not included.
it's like advertising from an alternate timeline where companies just told the truth about their products. Revolutionary concept.
Yeah, how about that? We're not trying to fool you. This is just what it is. So if you want it and you want to be healthy, eat it. So head to hiho.la and taste what honest advertising actually delivers.
Moving on to our final destination, July 9th, 2011, when South Sudan officially gained independence from Sudan, becoming the world's youngest nation.
Where was North Sudan? Ah,
Ah,
we won't even go there. And this one's all about Gen Z's relationship with global connectivity and self determination.
yeah, here's the thing that really gets me about Gen Z's response to South Sudan. They didn't just see it as some distant geopolitical event. They were immediately plugged into South Sudanese voices on social media, seeing the celebration and the challenges in real time.
Gen Z is the first generation to experience nation building through the perspectives of the people actually living in it, not just through CNN headlines or other government news sources or government press releases.
Right. When older generations might focus on the geopolitical implications or the economic challenges, Gen Z was watching TikToks from Juba and South Sudanese creators explaining their own history. And I think it's Juba. It might be Juba. It might be
Well,
Huba.
I
I'm
always
not
watch
sure.
Cuba, and it really is Juba. Um, what's remarkable about Gen Z processes independence movements, they don't automatically assume that existing borders are natural or permanent. Sort of like Putin in Ukraine. They're like, if people want their own country, they can make it work, unless I invade you. And why not?
Yeah. It's this very fluid approach to national identity that makes older generations nervous. Gen
Hmm,
Z sees South Sudan's independence and thinks about Scottish independence, Catalonian independence, indigenous sovereignty. They're not locked into post World War II maps.
that's right. You want independence? Put it on TikTok. And they understand that independence isn't just about drawing new lines on a map. They are immediately asking, what's the plan for infrastructure? How are women's rights protected? What about LGBTQ plus citizens? What's the environmental policy? They're digging deep.
Yeah, Gen Z expects new nations to be better than the old ones. They're not satisfied with we're independent now. They want to know what are you going to do with that independence that's actually progressive?
It's this beautiful idealism combined with very practical questions about governance. They're rooting for South Sudan to succeed, but they're also holding them accountable to 21st century standards of human rights and environmental responsibility. It's all encompassing.
It really is.
So, July 9th gives us this perfect progression of American institutional evolution.
Gen X learning that constitutional promises require constant vigilance, millennials transforming advertising from manipulation into conversation, and Gen Z redefining what national sovereignty can look like in a connected world.
So, again, we look through these three lenses, generational lenses, to see where everything stands from your perspective. It's like watching three different approaches to power: skeptical oversight, creative subversion, and idealistic reconstruction.
And somehow, through all these different ways of engaging with institutions, we still end up united by our appreciation for quality beef. Thanks
Mhm.
again to Hi-Ho Cheeseburgers at hi-ho.la for providing the protein that fuels our historical deep dives.
That's right, folks. It's all about the beef. And this stuff's great. If this journey
Janai,
through Janai, that's a new month, Lane.
good. I like that
It's
month.
after August. Or actually before. If it resonated with you, hit that button. Subscribe, the like button, and we want to hear from you.
Literally, record a voice memo sharing your favorite historical date. Could be personal, could be global, could be the day you discovered that pineapple on pizza isn't actually controversial. It's just delicious.
Yeah, and try bananas too. If we feature your voice memo in an animated version, says so, our animatronic robot answering machine will bring your story to life, which honestly sounds either amazing or really terrifying.
Yeah, until next time, this has been Touring History X, Y, and Z.
Oh, and by the way, you get a free t-shirt. And where every generation gets their moment and every moment gets its burger sponsorship. Hi-ho.la!
Hi ho! See you
Hi-ho!
later.
Bye-bye!